Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back, or if it's the first time here, welcome. Now today's video is gonna be all about my go-to everyday look when I wanna look a little bit more put together, but I don't want to have like a ton of makeup on and I don't want my hair to be too done. I sort of just wanna look, you know, like me, just a little bit enhanced. So I show you how I created this makeup look over here, which was done by using only drugstore and affordable products. And then for the hair tutorial, I show you how to create this very sleek and straight look using my T3 Single Pass Luxe Straightener. And this video is in collaboration with T3, which is always super exciting. I have collaborated with T3 in the past, and I was honestly very excited that they wanted to work with me for a second time. So I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. Do not forget to let me know what you thought in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up, and of course subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And definitely let me know also in the comments what your current favorite go-to makeup product is for every day. If you'd like to see how to get this makeup and hair look, then of course keep on watching. All right, so we're first gonna start off with the hair, because right now, let's just be honest, it's definitely not looking so hot. We are going to just straighten it, and this is really like my go-to hair look when I sort of want to look more put together, but I don't want to put too much effort into my hair. Even if I have like very minimal makeup on, I feel like it just adds a little bit of an extra something. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And of course, we're going to be using the T3 Single Pass Luxe to complete this hairstyle. So now I'm just going to go ahead and straighten all the pieces. And what's really nice about this straightener in particular is that it does have single pass technology, which means that you don't have to like go over your hair over and over and over again in order to get it straight. You can just run the iron through it once and it'll get it really, really nice and straight. So not only will that save you time, but it will also sort of, you know, minimize the damage that you put on your hair. And this also does have tourmaline infused ceramic plate, so it actually does make your hair a little bit shinier. I do already have heat protector in my hair. That is a very, very important step. So do not forget that. So you can see that with one pass, it got my hair really, really straight. I also want to mention that you could actually use this straightener not only to straighten your hair, but also to curl it. So that aspect is really nice because that means you don't have to have like an extra curling iron with you. You can really get everything done all with one tool. Okay, so now that my hair is nice and straight, we're gonna go into the extensions and put those in. So now that my extensions are in, you can see that they have a little bit of a wave to them because they were previously curled. So I'm actually gonna go back in and I'm just gonna go through my hair and straighten the extensions. So that completes the finished hair look. It's really sleek and simple. Now let's move on to the makeup. Really, the whole point is to make it look like you're not really wearing a ton of makeup. So we're really going to be concentrating mostly on the skin. So starting off with the foundation, I'm going to be taking my L'Oreal Pro Glow. I'm actually going to be thinning this out a little bit with some of my Pixie Glotion Day Dew. Mixing a glowy primer with my foundation is one of my favorite tricks, especially for everyday makeup, because I find it just thins out the foundation just enough that it looks a little bit more natural on the skin. And it also adds a little bit more of a glow. But if you have more of an oilier skin type, then I wouldn't mix in something like this. Instead, I would maybe mix in just a simple moisturizer so that you're not adding too much glow to your skin and that you get extra oily, because that is definitely not what you want. For an everyday makeup look, I do like to apply very little foundation, really just where I need it. So I'm not gonna cake this on. I'm really gonna concentrate this mostly like in the center of my face, because that's where I have most of my redness. Whereas on the outside of my face, my skin is pretty normal. So I'm not going to apply like a ton of foundation in that area, just a very, very sheer amount. So I'm gonna take my L'Oreal Beauty Sponge. This is dampened already, and I'm just going to start to really pat this into my skin. And by using a beauty sponge instead of a brush, it's also gonna sheer out the foundation so that it doesn't look too heavy. Making sure to bring it a little bit down my neck so that there's no foundation line. I've been guilty of that 1 or 2 times. Sometimes you just forget, you know? And then you look in the mirror afterwards and you're like, oh, looks like I'm wearing a mask. Okay, so that is what one sheer layer of foundation looks like, and I am pretty happy with the way it looks. I sort of just want to build up coverage in a few areas, mostly around my cheek and nose area, because that's where I am usually the most red. So I do like to build it up just a little bit. So instead of putting another layer on my whole entire face, I'm just going to pinpoint exactly where I want the extra coverage so that I'm not caking anything up. And then of course, go back in with the sponge and just tap that out. And that's pretty perfect. Now, if you have any active breakouts that you would like to cover up, that you feel like your foundation is really just not quite getting, I would use more of like a full coverage concealer rather than another layer of foundation, just so that you're still keeping your skin nice and light while you're covering where you just need to cover. So something like the Makeup Forever full cover concealer is really awesome. I know that isn't a drugstore brand, but that is personally my favorite for covering blemishes because it's a really nice, very thick consistency, so it's not going to slip and slide all over the place, and it is so full coverage, it will literally cover up a tattoo. So for my concealer today, I'm going to be taking my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. When I want more of a natural everyday look, I'm not going to go in with like full highlighting techniques and do like an upside down triangle and something really crazy. I like to just conceal where I really need it. So I'm just going to apply a little bit, sort of like right in the hollow of my eye right over here, because that is where I am the darkest, as well as right on the inner corner of my eye. And then I'm just going to apply 2 dots going straight down, just like that, because this is definitely a concealer that is significantly lighter, so I do not want to just have that brightness right underneath my eyes. I want to sort of bring it down just a touch so that everything just blends a little bit nicer together. So now I'm going to take my sponge and just dab that out. I'm also going to apply a thin layer across my eyelid just to sort of cancel out any discoloration or darkness. I don't want it to look completely blanked out on my eyelid since we are going for a more natural look. It could look a little bit too stark if we do sort of completely blank it out, but just a really thin layer of concealer will do the trick. Now I am going to highlight my face just a little bit just because I feel like it is pretty to bring a little bit of light to the face. I'm not going in with a super heavy hand. You can see I applied very, very, very little of the concealer, and the Beauty Blender really is going to soak up most of the product anyway. And by putting a little bit of a brighter concealer in those other areas of the face, it will also just sort of bring everything together. So now that we're done with the concealer and the foundation, I'm going to be taking my Stay Matte powder. This is one of my favorite powders from the drugstore. Typically, I don't really like powders that say Stay Matte because I do have dry skin, but this is a really nice, just very finely milled powder. It doesn't look cakey or too heavy. So I'm applying just a touch of powder in the center of my face just to cancel out a little bit of the glow in that area, just so that I don't look oily. And I'm also going to put a little bit of that powder underneath my eyes as well. Now moving on to the bronzer. I know this is a product that you can't find at the drugstore, but it is still super affordable because it is from ColourPop. So it's around $5 or $6, I believe. This is the ColourPop Paradise Cove bronzer because I love using products that have a little bit of like a creamier consistency to them on my no makeup days. Even though this isn't technically a cream product, it does have more of a creamier consistency than a typical powder, and I just find it looks so nice and natural on the skin. And to apply this to my face, I'm going to be taking my Morphe E7. You definitely do not want to go in and like swipe the product because you're really just going to start moving around all the foundation that's underneath. You just want to go in with very quick tapping motions. So now for my blush, I'm going to be taking this Maybelline blush palette. I am totally obsessed with this product. It's probably one of the best blush palettes or even blushes at the drugstore that I've found so far. It's really so comparable to higher end blushes. I'm really just very impressed with this. Today I'm going to be using the Peachy shade. I just apply this sort of like on my cheekbone area as well as on the apples of my cheeks. Like, look how pretty this blush is. I can't even get over this palette. You guys like need this. Like, this is such a must-have, honestly. It just blends so nicely. They're not too powdery that they become like too pigmented once you actually apply them, which is so key, especially for a blush because nobody wants clown cheeks. So now for my highlighter, I'm going to be taking another Maybelline product. This is the Master Strobing Liquid, and this is in the shade 100 Light Iridescent. So I just squeezed out a very small amount on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take a little bit onto my finger and just pat this right on the tops of my cheekbones. Because this is a cream product, it's really just gonna melt into the skin and look pretty natural. It doesn't look like you have like a stripe of powder on the tops of your cheekbones, if you know what I mean. Look how pretty that is. I love this product. So now the skin is completely finished, so now it's time to move on to the rest of the face. All we really gotta do are brows, lips, and a little bit of mascara. So I'm first gonna grab my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. This is one of my favorite brow products from the drugstore. It's very, very similar to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I'm just going to very lightly define my brows with this because this is definitely more of a natural look. I don't want my brows to be too Instagram-y or too blocky or bold. I really just want them to be nicely defined. And this is in the shade Dark Brunette, and it is literally my exact brow shade, so I definitely really love it. Because when you have a brow pencil or a brow pomade or powder or whatever that just matches your brows perfectly, you're just gonna be able to get such a natural look because you're not gonna see any difference between your brow hairs. Oops. and the actual product, which is definitely key. So now moving on to mascara, we're opening up a fresh tube of my baby. This is the Maybelline Lash Sensational. There's honestly nothing like opening up a fresh tube of mascara. Ooh, look at that. So nice. There's no clumps on it yet. It's beautiful. So now I'm just gonna go in and just apply a few coats to my upper as well as to my lower lashes. Last but not least, we gotta do the lips. So this is a Wet n Wild lipstick in the shade 900B Pink Sugar. It's just like a peachy nude. I'm gonna apply a little bit to the center of my lips because it is quite light. I'm gonna blend it out with my finger. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of gloss to the center of my lips. I'm gonna be taking this L'Oreal. I'm not even sure what this is really called, but it's a cream lip gloss. And this is in the shade 101 Girl on Top. These L'Oreal cream glosses, whatever these are so freaking nice. They add such a beautiful glossy sheen and they're not too pigmented. And then that finishes off this drugstore everyday makeup look. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Do not forget to let me know what you thought in the comments. Of course, give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.